Well, this is some pretty interesting topic. So Universal has already kickstarted their brand new universe with the release of The Mummy, and so far things don't seem to be looking too good, as the film is getting panned by critics, and although it's doing okay at the box office, the film is getting demolished by Wonder Woman, and at this point it seems like the Dark Universe is in a lot of trouble. Now the problem with the Mummy film in general is the fact that they decided to do this world building thing first and foremost as opposed to making it straightforward narrative. Because at this point a shared universe is the big thing when it comes down to cinema these days. And sure, everyone would assume that they're copying the MCU by doing their own shared universe, but here's the thing though. The reality of all this is the fact that Universal did actually kickstart this shared universe back in the day, by having all the monsters such as Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, the Mummy and a few others crossing over here and there. And the thing is, I'm all for Universal trying to do their very own shared universe by bringing back all the classic monsters, because in hindsight I think it's a pretty good idea. But the thing is, they're moving with this Dark Universe completely wrong, and Universal are really trying to play catch up so that they could reach to the same level as the MCU. Now, as much as I hate to compare their Dark Universe to the MCU again, Marvel is the only one who actually perfected the shared universe. And how they perfected the shared universe is the fact that they decided to focus on their individual stories first and foremost. But at the same time, they did all the world building stuff in the background. And then a few films later, they decided to complete the Jigsaw and ultimately pay off on what they were trying to build up towards. While Universal is doing a complete 180 by doing all the world building first, as opposed to having a complete narrative for the Mummy which has a clear beginning, middle and end, which automatically turns a lot of viewers down and would not want to go near another installment of the Dark Universe. And a similar thing happened to Sony with the Amazing Spider-Man series. Despite them actually making a good chunk of money out of this film, many people were turned down by the second film and ultimately didn't want to see the third film. And ultimately Sony had to rethink about the whole Spider-Man franchise and cancel all the future installments indefinitely. Now if Universal wants the Dark Universe to be successful, then they have to rethink about everything. Because truth be told, Universal can't fuck up again. They've already tried with Dracula Untold and already that is completely retconned and abandoned. So therefore having another reboot is completely out of the question. Now the next film to come out of this Dark Universe is of course The Bride of Frankenstein, which is due to come out in 2019. And this is more than enough time for Universal to think back and reevaluate on what they are doing and ultimately figure out what they should do for the future for this Dark Universe. Because truth be told, I actually want Universal to be successful with the Dark Universe and I want to see the classic monsters come back. And I am aware that they have a bunch of actors who are already signed up in playing these roles. So what I think that Universal should just do is essentially do a soft reboot and have all these films be their own thing. Now I don't mean just have all these films be completely separate from one another, but just treat all these films as their own separate thing. Now just look at Man of Steel for instance. By no means is it a perfect film by any stretch, however it still had its own beginning, middle and end, while having some Easter eggs here and there that are actually subtle, and although building up a bigger universe, they didn't distract from the main narrative of the film. Now truth be told, Universal does have the ability to spill out another installment from the Dark Universe just so that it could milk a bunch of money, regardless of the quality. But if these films continue to not be very good, then chances are everyone's going to get bored from it and that they're not going to be able to make any more. Now the best example of this is of course the new Power Rangers film. Now Lionsgate did have a plan to have at least 6 more films out of this franchise, but the thing is, it got critically panned and also barely made any money. And although it's not confirmed that the Power Rangers franchise is officially dead, it would be very suicidal if Lionsgate decides to make another installment out of this new Power Rangers reboot. And at this point Universal is at that same boat. At the same time, they have the potential to redeem themselves and make their films better. But if they want the Dark Universe to be successful, then they have to listen to the fans and give them what they want. And I know Universal is a business and all, but if they continue to give us what we don't want, then ultimately the whole Dark Universe is going to be crashing down. And if Universal really wants to keep the Dark Universe afloat, then they really need to step it up. And like I said, the Dark Universe does have a lot of potential. They just need to go back to the drawing board and just try and figure out what they should do in order to salvage this Dark Universe. So do you still have hopes that the Dark Universe will actually be successful, or do you think that it's going to be crashing down? Comment below and share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Take care and have a good one.